has taken over. Let's go. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money. It's Ferrall, coast to coast. Hour 2 of Coast to Coast on a Terrible Towel Tuesday. 3-0 in the bottom of the 5th at Minute Maid, and they're getting ready to go at Camden with game 1 of Royals and Orioles here in about, 8 minutes or so, roughly in that neighborhood. So Carver High and I all over these baseball games today. The Mets game will start at around 5:32 in Milwaukee. We'll get a taste of all 3 today on Coast to Coast.
We certainly will, Scotty. Let's talk about the third game of the day, which will start about 90 minutes from now in Milwaukee as the Mets, after that wild win in Game 1 in Atlanta yesterday, and with the loss in Game 2, means they go to see the Brewers, who, of course, they were just in Milwaukee this past weekend, Scotty. They will head back there now for this 3-game wild card series. Let's hear from Brewers manager Pat Murphy. I kind of like this guy. This is another guy maybe you'll see a little bit of here in the playoffs at all these podiums. The Brewers, a very blue-collar team, Sky. Worked very hard this year, ran away with the NL Central. Pat Murphy does not expect his team to stop doing that once we get into the postseason.
They created this, and they did it in a way they know how they did it. And it wasn't by worried about who's got a bigger budget or who's got more experience or who was on the All-Star team. They did it by pulling together and playing a certain way. And they know that's the secret. And I don't think they wiped the slate clean in that this is how I play. You know, the numbers are out the windows now. I mean, it doesn't matter. Now it's about win tonight. And they've kind of been doing that all year. So I feel very, very fortunate to have a group of people that are that competitive and look at the game that way.
I'll tell you one thing, Mike. They seem to have the Mets number.
They seem to have the Mets number. They've played very well against the Mets the last couple of seasons, and including last weekend when they took 2 out of 3 from them in Milwaukee. Tonight, it will be Freddie Peralta getting the ball in game number 1 for the Brewers. Luis Severino, who, of course, they did the dopey celebration in the locker room, Scotty. Both teams did after that game yesterday, which makes even more doubly no sense to me, considering they both had to go somewhere to play a game today. But they went and did all the dopey, and Luis Severino had the water in his hand, basically to say, I'm not drinking, I know I have to pitch tomorrow. They are plus 125, Severino and the Mets, minus 150 for Peralta and the Brew Crew. This is a 7.5 total here in game number 1.
Yeah, as Luke knows, I would have a drink at the celebration, and then I would have another one before the game today, so that you could, limber up for today's game. Hair of the dog. Look, I don't know if any of that matters. What I do know is that, like I said, the Brewers seem to own them, but I think Severino's better than people give him credit for. I think the guy can pitch. He didn't win all those games this year because he sucks. And I think the Mets lineup is sick. I really do. Like, have fun pitching to them. Every guy on that team can hit. Every single guy can hit. I mean, it doesn't matter. Alvarez, Vientos, Alonso, it goes on and on. Lindor, Nimmo. You have to admit, Mike, that they are a brutal lineup to get through. I like their chances against Milwaukee, even though the Brewers, own them, allegedly, that they're so much better than the Mets. I don't believe in any of that nonsense starting today. This is the postseason. This is a playoff game. This is a whole fresh, new kid and caboodle.
I don't believe that teams that just play each other 6 times a year, that you can own a team. Like, teams you play in your own division and you play them 11, 12, 13 times a year, you see them all the time. And you can own somebody. You see these teams so infrequently now with the way baseball schedule's done, Scotty. I don't think that the owning anybody stuff matters. I actually think the Mets are going to win this series. I think it's going to go 3 games. And I think the Mets are going to move on. And you talked about how the Yankees and the Orioles, kind of little collision course, seems like it's meant to be for those two teams to play each other. Mets and Phillies would be a lot of fun in the division series if we could ever get there this weekend too. But they got to get past. Now, Brewers have had trouble in this round the last few years. You know, Diamondbacks beat them last year and in Milwaukee, so they've had some issues getting out of this spot before. I always like to give you a couple for your own entertainment. The Winkman's in the lineup for the Mets today. Would you like to know why, Scotty? 6 for 18 with 2 homers off of Peralta in his career. And on the other side, Rhys Hoskins, 3 for 6 with a homer off of Severino. Adames, 4 for 11 with a homer off of Severino. So the Brewers have some guys that have hit Severino as well on their side of things. But I like the over in this one, too. I think you're going to get some runs with Severino and Peralta on the mound today.
Yeah, and listen, they both are so good at scoring runs and getting hits and hitting home runs that I agree with all of that. I agree with that they can win the series. I agree that I think the Mets and Phillies is what's, frankly, good for America. I think it's good for America if we get the O's and Yankees and the Mets and Phillies, 2 divisional rivals in 2 DSs. That's incredible.
How about this? I'll give you one even better. How about we get 4 divisional rivals this weekend in the division series? Yankees, Orioles, Mets, Phillies, Dodgers, Padres, and Tigers, Guardians. Tigers, Cleveland. How about we get 4
That's what I want.
Series.
That's what I want. And I'm asking God for that to happen.
Padres, Dodgers would be a lot of fun too. I
hate the Dodgers. I
know you do. I know you do. Speaking of the Padres, they, of course, will play the Braves after the Braves won the second game of the doubleheader yesterday. They had the long flight last night after the celebration. They are not going to have Chris Sale in this series. Not only is he not expected to pitch, Scott, he is not on the roster for the wild card round
for
Atlanta.
What is going on with him? That back?
I think if you ask, I saw some people in Boston say this today. I saw them say, "Welcome to the Chris Sale experience." He finally felt it this week, the Atlanta fans, because obviously Sale was hurt all the time in Boston his last few years, and he was sturdy all year for Atlanta until this week when the bad back showed up for him.
So now, and when you need him most, he's not available.
Not available these next 3 days out at Petco Park.
Listen, and honestly, I hate them too. So I want them to go down. I could give a rat's ass about Chris Sale and the Braves. I told you yesterday I can't stand them. I told you all year I can't stand them. I've told you for 10 years I can't stand them. I want the Friars to beat their ass. I want San Diego and L.A., and I want the Padres to knock the Dodgers out of the playoffs. And the Dodgers pitching is of concern, and the Padres don't have those problems. They don't. They're good at everything. Pitching, hitting, defense, they got it all. I would love to see them knock off L.A. And not only that, I'm not even kidding. I swear to God, I wish I could fly out there and go to the games. And I think the games are going to be, they're in the division series, they play in both parks. It's none of this 3 games at the home team. I think this thing at these 3 home games, it's ridiculous. Frankly, as far as I'm concerned, it should. And I know they can't go 1-1-1. But, I just think it's unfair that one team gets all the home games. That's just not reasonable to me.
I think that it's better than the way they used to do it. It used to be just one game, the wild card, and just one game, in or out, do or die. I think you had to give the team that either won the division or the higher a little bit of an advantage for the whole 162 games. So I don't mind it. I think it's better than one game. I think these teams play 3-game series all year in the same place. I think it's a nice barometer. You got to win 2 out of 3.
God, I want to go to San Diego bad. I want to go. I'm not kidding. I'd fly 12 hours for that.
anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
After a very promising start to this season, could it be already done for KC's wide receiver, Rashee Rice, attempting to make a tackle after Patrick Mahomes threw an interception?
We're used to teams saying, we don't know, MRI. Here, Andy Reid's being a little more honest. He's leaving hope alive, but I think they already know, which is really, really too bad.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, Carver High. So let's talk about them there, Friars. You got a little Manny Machado for me on a Tuesday to get my heart racing?
Yeah, let's get ready for the final game of the day. Padres and the Braves, game 1 tonight at Petco. Here is Manny Machado. Of course, he was asked yesterday, do you think it'll be an advantage that the Braves had to play 2 games and fly all the way across the country before game 1 tonight? Well, what do you think, he said, Scotty? Of course it is, but we still got to handle our business.
I mean, yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously, playing a doubleheader today, definitely doesn't help them and benefits us in a way. But at the end of the day, it's postseason baseball. Once that game starts, once those lights turn on, and both teams are going to be competing. Yeah, do we have the edge today? Absolutely. But who knows tomorrow at 5:00? They're a good team, and we can't let up. We got to go out there and take care of our business and keep playing how we've been playing baseball. But I think, postseason baseball, you can never take anything for granted. I mean, you just got to go out there and compete, play, and be ready for whatever. I know they are, and, so will we.
Listen, I just think this guy is so incredible. He really is. And I think he's earned every penny of that gigantic contract he signed with Preller and the Padres. I think he comes to work every single day. I think he plays his ass off. He's a great player. He puts up big numbers. He's a winner. He's never involved in anything bad. Have you ever seen him do anything bad? Like he got a rap for, he's cocky, his bling, all this other nonsense, stuff that doesn't matter. None of that stuff matters. That guy has earned every penny. You think about guys, seriously, like Trout. I'm sorry. Like, I love Mike Trout. He's a badass, but he plays about 5 games a year, and he's making $450 million. He never plays. Machado plays every day, every year, every game, every day, every year. He just keeps producing, and they keep going to the playoffs. That guy's a winner, flat out. He has paid off in spades for that franchise, unquestionably.
He certainly has. So here we go for tonight, Scotty, with this one. We will have, Michael King is going to get the ball for the Padres. The Braves, I believe, Scotty, are still trying to figure out once they get out. They are going to go with Smith Shaw, they have listed here as the starter, which means it's probably going to be very much a bullpen type of game. One of their younger arms, Scotty. Remember, Braves in a tough pitching situation here. They pitched Schwellenbach yesterday. They don't have Sale available to them. They've kind of needed to pitch all their guys over the weekend just to get to this point. So it's going to be kind of all hands on deck for the Braves tonight. Padres minus 180, plus $1.50 for Atlanta, and a 7.5.
Yeah, listen, I like Mike King. You and I know him. This kid, Smith Shawver, is going to get lit up. The Padres are going to jump on him like a train. And I mean to tell you, I don't feel for 1 second they could play a doubleheader yesterday with the stress of that first game and then win the second game and then drink a bunch of champagne and beer and then fly 6 hours to San Diego and then play at 5 o'clock on the next day, the very next day after all of that, and you're throwing some kid, he may poop his pants, that kid. So honestly, the Padres are going to beat them.
Smith Shawver made one start this year for the Braves. It was back in May in Chicago against the Cubs. So he's been in the minors all year. So look, this is, like I said, it's kind of with Sale getting hurt and them using two starters yesterday. This is kind of, Holmes is kind of a long guy for them that started the second game. Really, they needed to go with someone. So they're going to go with one of their kids.
The only way they win is, in my opinion, is if the bats, which they have bats, there's no doubt that they have hitters. So if Albies and Olsen and Murphy and the whole team is, Darno, if everyone on that team is hitting tonight against King and they tee off on him, if they jump on him early, let's say hit a couple home runs, and get a lead, and they got the bats going, and they're getting guys on base, that's their only chance to me. That kid's he's gonna be shaking like a leaf when he goes out on that bump against that crowd. That crowd at Petco's sold out, every single seat taken. Everybody's lit, and that's a really good team. The Padres mean business, dude. They're good enough. I know that everyone thinks it's just Dodgers and Yankees, and everybody else sucks. You couldn't be further from the truth. The Padres mean business. They're a really good team. They can do everything well. And, they're lying in wait. I think they're like a rattlesnake in the grass. You step in the wrong place, you're going to get bit.
Yeah, they really have a shot, at least out of the gates tonight with this kid pitching to step on the throat here, Scott. You win that first game. That makes it even tougher. You just got to win 1 out of 2 at home then.
Yeah.
Skubal strikes out Alvarez here in the bottom of the 6th. So 5 strikeouts for Skubal now. He had a very quick 5th inning, Scotty.
Right.
So this is going to allow him. He's only got 79 pitches right now with 2 outs in the 6th. They should get minimum 7 out of Skubal here and just need at the 6 outs from their bullpen. We shall see how it continues to go. All right. Let me quickly slide in a few other things, and then we'll finish the baseball when we come back. Odds to win the NL, of course, only 6 teams are left as we start play here. Dodgers and Phillies have the bye. They're not playing until Saturday. They are the favorites in the National League, followed by the Padres, Brewers, Mets, and the Braves to win the National League.
Honestly, I swear to God, I'm putting money on the Padres and the Mets. Look at that, 5-1 and 11-1. Why? Everything else is just a waste of my time. It's too easy, and there's no money involved. I'm just gonna, bet on the favorites. Wrong. I'm not doing it. I'm going Padres and Mets. If I hit with either one of them, yesterday you hit on that 8-1 bet in less than 30 seconds. You went for it, and it paid off. I'm going with those two.
On the American League side, of course, the Yankees, who have the bye, are the favorites. And then the Astros, actually. Cleveland, who also isn't playing this week, is third on the board at 390. Orioles, Royals, Tigers. Tigers 12-1 going into today. That's going to change after they win Game 1 against the Astros potentially here.
Yeah, I'm just homerized milquetoast here. I only want one thing to happen, so screw everybody else. I'm on the pinstripers.
anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
After a very promising start to this season, could it be already done for KC's wide receiver, Rashee Rice, attempting to make a tackle after Patrick Mahomes threw an interception?
We're used to teams saying, we don't know, MRI. Here, Andy Reid's being a little more honest. He's leaving hope alive, but I think they already know, which is really, really too bad.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
He just got his strikeout that you needed to cover your bet as Scooble got out of the sixth. I don't see a reason in the world, cramps or otherwise, they keep checking him. He's fine. If he's throwing gas and he struck out another guy, got out of the inning, gave up a shot to Bregman off the top of the wall, a single, should have been a double at the very least, almost a home run. Instead, he gets a single, then strikes out Diaz. I say he goes out. Why not in the seventh? Why not in the eighth? I mean, this guy's not pitching again in this series. It's now or never. You got the Cy Young, the most dominant guy in baseball pitching right now. What are you taking him out for? So he can go have a hot tub, an ice bath? I mean, pitch his ass.
I agree with you. You know, you baby the guy all year. And I think if this was a regular season game, there's no way he'd come out for the seventh inning with, I think it's right about 90 pitches he's at. But the reason why you baby the guy all year and maybe don't go 105, 110, is for now. It's October. You've got a 3-0 lead in the game. Aside from that ball that Bregman hit, you know, nobody's really done anything off of him all day. He's not going to pitch the next 2 days, obviously, rest of the series. I try to get 3 more outs with him here in the seventh. Have somebody ready, obviously, if he puts a couple guys on. I think Hinch will have an even quicker hook. I think if he puts one guy on, Hinch would probably take him out. But I would have to at least start the seventh with him, Scotty. I don't think they're going to, but I would start the seventh.
Now, listen, now I'm crazy. I literally want him to go 8. I want him to pitch 2 more innings and then go to your pen for 3 outs. I need 3 outs, and you're up 3 runs. You have more of the odds of them scoring 3 runs if he only pitches the 7th in the 8th and 9th inning, having to get 6 outs. I think the door's wide open for a comeback in the 8th and 9th inning. We saw it yesterday with the Mets. They were down 3-0. They scored 6 runs in the 8th inning. Then they gave up 4 runs. They were down 7-6. Then they had a 2-run homer, Lindor, to win it 8-7. I would, if this guy, there's nothing wrong with him. He's a horse. He's 6'4", 240 pounds. He's literally my size, and he is fine. There's nothing wrong with him. Keep pitching until someone can get a hit. No one can get a hit off of him. He's given up like a couple hits in the game. Bregman hit one, And he was so shocked he hit it that he only got to first base on a shot off the wall. I mean, honestly, keep pitching. I don't see any point in taking him out. All it does is open up the possibility of losing the game.
I hope they stay with him. I'm with you, but I watch it. You know how today's day and age with baseball, it just feels like they never do that stuff anymore. I hope they do. I'm with you.
What do you think he's saying in the dugout to Hinch? Leave me in.
Hopefully he's saying that. You know, I hope that's what he's saying.
Do you think Paul Skeens would want to come out of a game that he's throwing whatever? How many hits has he given up in the game? I mean, honestly, 2-3 hits? How many hits has he given up? I got to look at it.
He's given up 4 hits. So he's gone 6 innings, 4 hits, no runs, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. He's got 88 pitches.
He can go 2 innings as easy as we can finish this hour. Honestly.
He's had a couple fast innings too, which he could have those again coming up here, but we shall see. 1 or 2 other things, and then I want to start getting to some of the football stuff while we watch these games. I got to find it. I actually did hear this audio, and I'm going to try to get it for you for tomorrow. The Diamondbacks owner, Ken Kendrick, went on some radio station in Arizona this morning, Scotty, and he absolutely shredded Jordan Montgomery and the signing, basically told the hosts who were kind of getting into why did the team sign him. He goes, I take all the blame. My front office he wasn't in their plans. I pushed for it. I'm the one who wanted it. It all falls with me. It's the worst signing we've ever made as an organization because completely going off on Montgomery, who, as we know, was brutal. He had like a 6.5 ERA for the Snakes this year. Now, remember this. He has an opt-in with Arizona for $22.5 million this year. And I got to tell you, you probably got to take that, right, Scotty? Because with the way he pitched this year, I'm not sure he's going to get $22.5 million next year. So that's a bridge that's going to have to be repaired when he accepts that $22.5 million option.
Yeah, I don't think so. There's no way after that guy went on the air today and talked that badly about him and basically called him a piece of shack that kid's going to play for that team ever again. Not one more game, ever. He's going to leave. And let me tell you something. He's a lefty, and he will have offers. I'll tell you, a team will take him. The Yankees will take him back in 5 seconds.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
After a very promising start to this season, could it be already done for KC's wide receiver, Rashee Rice, attempting to make a tackle after Patrick Mahomes threw an interception?
We're used to teams saying, we don't know, MRI. Here, Andy Reid's being a little more honest. He's leaving hope alive, but I think they already know, which is really, really too bad.
The early line. only on SportsGrid.
All right, so no score in the Kansas City-Baltimore game. In the bottom of the second, 1 out, the O's are up, and Rauschman's up. Anyway, and it's still 3-0 Tigers in their basically, I think there's 2 outs in the seventh. We'll see if Skubal pitches in the bottom of the seventh. Carver High said they're warming up pitchers in the Detroit pen.
They are warming up pitchers in the Detroit pen. Apparently, Will Vest is warming up. They had your boy Bo Brisket getting ready to go as well. So it looks like maybe the Tigers are going to go to the bullpen. We shall see. The Tigers are hitting now in the top of the seventh. You mentioned what's going on in Baltimore. All right, we'll sprinkle in. We'll go through some NFL stuff while we watch these games as well. And I do have this that kind of just came off the across the news desk here, Scotty. Although this is a story that we had in here already that's been permeating throughout the day, and now there's just another level to it. I'm sure you saw all these reports that the Raiders are starting to listen to offers for Davante Adams. That's been kind of floating around all day. They're calling teams are calling them. It seems like it's going to be the end of the line for Adams in Vegas. Now the latest is that he has told the team that he would prefer if they traded him. So remember we played that clip of him in August at training camp? This is where I want to be. I don't want to be anywhere else. I don't know where you guys get these stories from. I don't know what goes on here. Well, he's now told them he wants out allegedly, and they are looking to get him out. So that could transpire fairly quickly.
Well, I don't understand why he's so miserable there, to be honest with you. I guess because they're 2-2. It's not like they're finished. It's not like they're the worst team you've ever seen in your life. I thought Minshew got the job done on Sunday, and they beat the Browns. I don't think the Browns are anything. They've gone from the penthouse to the outhouse in a hurry. Last year, they were everybody's darling. I don't think the Raiders are good, and you've heard me say this. I don't believe in Antonio Pierce as a head coach for 5 seconds. But, Vegas, dude, like, really? You're miserable there? Where are you happy then? Because, that place is so lit. And not only that, you could be miserable there and still take advantage of it's like, to me, it's New York City and Las Vegas for restaurants. You want to eat food? That is the place to eat food. I'll tell you what, in Vegas, you can have no luck in the world, but you can always have a good meal. You may not win a bet at the table, but you can have a great meal. I've never known anyone really that's miserable. Miserable in Vegas. Who's miserable in Vegas? Every time I go to Vegas, I have fun. Every time. Even when I'm miserable, I'm having fun. Honestly, how can that guy be miserable there? They must really suck in his organization, seriously, to be that miserable there. Can you imagine being Bowers and being drafted there, and you're watching one of the best receivers in NFL history, and he's just so miserable, and you're sitting there looking at this guy going, wonder why he's so mad. What's going to happen to that Bowers kid in Vegas? Honestly, what's going on with the Raiders? The players don't want to be there and they want to leave. It has to be Antonio Pierce. I'm telling you, I never bought into that guy as a head coach for 1 minute. Not 1 minute. I thought he was a hack coach. As a college coach, he cheated his ass off, and now he's fooled everyone in the NFL into getting that contract. I don't buy him for saying it's got to be him.
You would think it has to be, but then why'd they bring him back then? Don't they talk to some of the players at the end of the season? Did you like working with this guy?
Right.
He was the interim coach. It wasn't like wouldn't the players have some say? Wouldn't somebody talk to?
Is Max Crosby miserable? No.
No, it doesn't seem like it. Look, this guy wants to get, where he wants to go. He wants to be with his buddy again. His buddy Aaron. He wants to get back with them. We shall see how all of that goes.
The Jets can't even beat the Broncos.
Interesting review here in this Detroit game, Scotty. Now, Perez hit a ball into right center field. he was safe. He got his hand in at second base, but he might have come off the bag. I think his foot was still on the bag, but they're reviewing it right now. If the review is good, it'll be second and third, 2 outs for the Tigers. If not, and they overturn it.
They left him at second and third, so I already got the answer.
Left him at second and third. So you've got the answer already. Of course, you're ahead of me. So now Torkelson will come up with 2 outs at second and third to see if he can drive in a couple of more runs for the Tigers here and try to extend
this game's over.
If he gets a hit, 5 runs in a game like this, very tough hill to climb. Listen, after yesterday, we saw some strange things yesterday, so I'm never ready to say anything's over anymore.
Well, if he gets a hit and it's 5-0, then they go to the pen automatic, and I don't think they blow 5 runs in whatever it is. They got 9 outs, so it's a long 9 outs in my view. I think the 7th, 8th, and 9th to me are bullpen and money time. This is when you sink or swim, and you find out what you're made of with your bullpen. I mean, they already know what they got in Skubal, and what you don't know is can they close the door?
That is what you don't know, that's for sure. All right, let's talk about these few games from last night. NFL Week 4 comes to a close with those 2 games on Monday night. Lions beat the Seahawks 42-29. Really big night, Scotty, for Jared Goff. He was perfect throwing the football. 18 for 18 for 292 yards, and he threw for 2 touchdowns. And he also caught a touchdown on Westwood One Sports.
In all black uniforms, Honolulu blue helmets, second down goal inside the 7 of Seattle. Lions have it with the touchdown lead in the 3rd. Shotgun snap goes to the quarterback. Goff fakes the handoff and gives the end around to St. Brown, who then throws in the end zone. Caught by Goff at the goal line. Near side. Touchdown Detroit. The wide receiver just threw a touchdown pass to the quarterback. Now we have seen it all. Wow.
Arlen.
I mean, Kevin just losing his mind on a Week 4 Monday nighter. Let me say this. He also threw one to Ross St. Brown, so he had it all going last night, and they made mincemeat out of the Seahawks at Ford Field.
It was actually a pretty good game, I thought. It was a hell of a lot more entertaining than the other game. I mean, it was 35-27 in the 4th quarter when Walker had that 3rd touchdown. Kenneth Walker had a huge night. He had 3 tutties for the Hawks. And then they were able to pull away 42-27 after that. So I thought it was a lot better than the other one. Dan Campbell didn't know Goff had a perfect night. I mean, honestly, dude, know what's going on in the game. Dan didn't know that he had a perfect night. So Lions will head into the bye now, Scotty, after that win, as the byes do start this week. Don't forget that. In the NFL. Let's quickly give you the highlight from the other Monday night game, and there wasn't many of them. The Titans beat the Dolphins 31-12. Only 1 touchdown for Tennessee, who lost Will Levis in this game. Mason Rudolph came in. Tajay Spears on Westwood One Sports.
After the timeout, 1st and goal at the 7, and Spears is in the Wildcat again. 5 in the formation, stomps his foot, has the ball, takes the handoff, and then runs right, cuts up and into the end zone. Touchdown, Tennessee! Tajay Spears with a 7-yard score on a Wildcat keeper. And the Titans extend the lead with 6 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter. It's 15-6, Tennessee over Miami.
Listen, all I know is yesterday on this show, I said one thing. I said the only way the Titans are going to beat the Dolphins is if they go with Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. I said, put him in the game. The Steelers use him. 3 straight wins. Right into the playoffs they went. The guy wins. The guy scores. The guy goes on drives. He had 7 scoring drives last night, and the kicker, Folk, had 5 field goals. Here's the deal. Will Levis sucks, and they need to seriously have a conversation about letting this guy keep playing, because if they think that Will Levis is some kind of star, they are tripping. I mean, Mason Rudolph is the ugliest quarterback in the league, but all he does is win and go on scoring drives. That's all he does. He did it with Pittsburgh. He's doing it now in Tennessee, and he did it last night. And I say once you get a guy going, I mean, you got to roll with the butter.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
After a very promising start to this season, could it be already done for KC's wide receiver, Rashee Rice, attempting to make a tackle after Patrick Mahomes threw an interception?
We're used to teams saying, we don't know, MRI. Here, Andy Reid's being a little more honest. He's leaving hope alive, but I think they already know, which is really, really too bad.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
So, Carver High, just for your edification, the Tigers bullpen, top 5 in everything in baseball. Every category, they're top 5. Vest is in blowing away hitters right now. Struck out Pena looking, and, he's just throwing gas, and he's got an ERA of 2.8. So I like what I'm seeing from the bullpen initially here, coming in for Skubal in the bottom of the 7th. And I want to get your reaction to what I said about Rudolph. Now, people always talk about this guy like he's a bum. And the funny thing is that, his record is undeniable. All he does is come in and win. All he does is play and win. All he does is play and go on drives. One after the next. He did the same thing with the Steelers last year and got him in the playoffs with 3 straight wins and looked like a world beater. And now he goes to Tennessee, cuts this deal, and gets in for Levis last night. And he didn't do anything spectacular at all, but he didn't screw anything up like Levis does every game, screws up games, turns the ball over, throws picks, fumbles the ball. Rudolph doesn't do that. And he won. And they finally won a game. What do you do if you're Dirty Harry Callahan now that you finally got a win and a guy goes in and handles his business?
Yeah, I'll take all these things in order. First of all, number one, if I was Dirty Harry Callahan, I would be playing Mason Rudolph. That would be the quarterback that I would want to keep going with. He said last night after the game that if Levis is healthy, he's still the starter.
Yeah, he'll learn the hard way.
Now that's what's called, Scotty, as you know. I've only been a head coach in the NFL for 4 games, and I haven't figured it out yet. That's what that's called. So he hasn't figured it out yet that Rudolph gives him a better chance to win than Will Levis does. He'll eventually figure it out, and hopefully he will before he gets fired, because that's how fast things go in the NFL. So he claims he's going to stay with Levis as long as he's healthy.
Will
Bad
Levis
move
is
by
awful.
him.
He's awful.
Me and you agree. I would play Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer, going forward because
with your nose so bright.
He doesn't make mistakes, and he moves them down the field. Yeah, they kicked a lot of field goals, but still, it was all right. Number 2.
Those count.
The Detroit bullpen. Like I said to you about their lineup, there's guys that you're going to see on this team. You couldn't pick them out of a lineup at a police station. You've never heard of them before in their lives.
Right.
But that's why Detroit's here, and that's why they're dangerous. These guys throw gas. Vest, Brisky, the kid that comes in at the end who's been closing games for them, they have some live arms in that pen. And as we've seen in October's past, sometimes that gets you on a run when you got a really strong bullpen. So watch out for the Tigers here.
Watch out
going forward.
12-1.
Number three, spew news for you. Buffalo Bills rusher Von Miller gets suspended here. He is going to be gone 4 games for violating the NFL's personal conduct policy.
Ooh.
If you remember, Scotty, he was arrested last November. Third-degree felony assault of a pregnant woman, his girlfriend, which is punishable. But either way, I believe the charges, Scotty, we know how that all worked out. I believe those went away in terms of his legal matters, but they don't go away in the NFL. 4 games, he gets suspended.
They have their own judge and jury.
They have their own judge and jury for that. So 4 games for Von Miller, which
glad the league finally got around to protecting the pregnant woman 11 months later.
11 months later, they did that after they finally, I guess, talked to everybody that they needed to talk to there. Now, like I said to you last week, he had been playing better. There wasn't really much further down he could go. He was awful last year for the Bills. Now, he only played, I think it was 6 or 7 snaps Sunday night against the Ravens. Usually teams know this is coming down the pike as well. Maybe that had something to do with it, or maybe they were just getting their doors blown off and really didn't have any reason, because he can't stop the run. And all the Ravens were doing was running the football.
Right.
So that part of it. But he's not going to be around for a month anyway. Suspended, no pay. Next, I wanted to do one more thing with the Miami game, and that was Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you saw him on the sidelines last night.
Doing
now,
the digs.
I get it from one aspect. He had 2 plays in that game last night that were wide open, no doubt about it, 80-yard touchdown passes. I mean, he blew by Snead in the first half, and he had his hand up, and what's his name? Huntley threw it like 20 yards in front of him, and he throws that ball out there, it's an 80-yard touchdown. He had another one in the second half that was a no doubt about it 80-yard touchdown that he missed him on. So I get Tyreek's frustration, but that never plays well on TV, Scotty, when you're giving everybody the business on the sideline.
Bro, he was having a Calypso Bay meltdown, and he did it right next to McDaniel. Like, literally right behind him, he was having this spastic moment. And I think it is obvious that in no time whatsoever, he's miserable in Miami. He just signed a gigantic deal, and he lost his quarterback, and their season is over. And he's not getting the rock, and he's pulling at Diggs. My man is throwing temper tantrums on the sideline. He's unhappy, and I guarantee you that was the beginning of the end. He wants out of there. He's not going to sit around and watch them lose every week and not get the rock.
I'm with you, and this Dolphins season is going to take quite the turn. And look, you know who looks great in this is Tua. Look at what this offense is without Tua there. Everybody for years, Tua's not that great, Tua's not this, Tua's not that. I guess he is pretty good because they suck without him. Like, they can't move the football without him.
He can't take a shot, though, Mike.
I know, and that's the other thing on this. If they go completely in the hole here, and they get to 1-5, 1-6, 1-7, at that point, it makes it a lot easier for them to go to 2 and be like, listen, you're done for the year. Why don't we're going to shut this thing down for this year.
Right.
If you want to try again next year, we'll give it one more shot. I'm sure because like I told you a few weeks ago, I don't think he's going to want to stop playing football. But I think them being really bad is going to allow them to say to him, look, let's take the rest of the year off and
Mike,
try to get you right.
He's already close to being back. He's already close to being cleared and back. Here's the problem. I don't believe for 1 minute that the guy can take a hit, and there is no way in hell that he can play in the NFL without being hit. I don't care who your offensive line is. Guys get hit after the fact, after the play, after the pass. Guys get hit every time they turn around. He can't take a hit. I still believe that his career's over.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York team has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
After a very promising start to this season, could it be already done for KC's wide receiver, Rashee Rice, attempting to make a tackle after Patrick Mahomes threw an interception?
We're used to teams saying, we don't know, MRI. Here, Andy Reid's being a little more honest. He's leaving hope alive, but I think they already know, which is really, really too bad.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, so what is Todd Bowles saying about the Falcons, of all things?
Yes, we now move on. Week 4 is in the rear view. We are on to week number 5, which starts Thursday night in Atlanta. NFC South matchup between the Bucs and the Falcons. Bucs, of course, 3-1 after the win over the Eagles on Sunday. Falcons sitting at 2-2. A different Falcon team from the one Bowles has seen the last few years in the division, of course, now that they have Kirk Cousins at quarterback, Raheem Morris as head coach. Let's get a quick, big breakdown from Coach Bowles here on the Atlanta Falcons.
Different offensively and defensively. They're playing faster. They're playing with a lot of confidence. They added quite a few guys. They got a lot of talent over there, so they can beat you a bunch of different ways. So we got to be on our P's and Q's.
On his P's and Q's. Be on your P's and Q's.
That team is, I think they're good, okay? Flat out. I think Baker Mayfield's good. I already know his receivers are good. We already know what Evans does. We already know what Godwin, is that his name, the other one? They have so many great players that make plays and a defense. They got Vita Vea. I remember they said he wasn't going to play last week. He played. They kicked Philadelphia's ass, okay? They are not afraid to go to Atlanta and win that game. I mean, you aren't just stopping that offense. They score. I don't care who they're playing. I mean, they laid one egg. I'll give you that. They looked terrible in that loss before the Eagle game. But they got right back up on that horse, and I thought looked pretty good at Raymond James on Sunday. I think they'll give the Falcons a game. I mean, let's face facts. The Falcons are getting all this credit. I mean, if it wasn't for, this guy's 58-yard field goal, they lose that game to the Saints. That was a monster kick with no time left on the clock. You got to give Koo all the credit, right? So they're beatable. I mean, the Saints had them right where they wanted them. I think frankly, the Buccaneers will give them a game. I don't know what the line is or anything else this early, but
I'm about to tell you that. The Falcons are 1.5-point favorites here on a Tuesday. So 1.5 for Atlanta with a 43.5 total for Thursday Night Football.
Yeah, and I got to be honest. I like Tampa.
It's a tough one. It's always tough with the road team on Thursday night. to back them. But Tampa, I think, has looked better than Atlanta through the first 4 games of this season. And I still think the Bucs have a little chip on the shoulder because everybody talked up Atlanta coming into this year. They were, no doubt about it, going to win the South. The Jets, of course, are going to be heading to London. We start our London games this week. Jets and the Minnesota Vikings. Yesterday we had a very upset Robert Saleh after they lost to the Broncos. After watching the tape a few 100 times, he's probably not even in a much better mood. Got to clean up the penalties. Here's Coach.
Robert, when you went back and looked, what was the most alarming thing about the penalties?
Like I said yesterday, our operation had been good throughout camp and the first 3 weeks of the season. One good yesterday. There's obviously things that we just watching the tape, and we talked at length this morning already as a coaching staff, that there's definitely things that we can make better for the players.
Look, I just didn't think, Mike, that Aaron Rodgers played well in that game. It was, blame whatever you want, the rain, but there was none of that fluidity that they had when he won his first game at Jet Life. They didn't play loose at all. They never moved the ball. He didn't do well throwing the ball. They didn't do anything right. So, I've heard all I can take about how great they are and how on paper they're, a playoff team, and on paper they're a potential Super Bowl team. I haven't seen any of that. I've seen him look good for, spurts. I thought he looked good in the one win. I thought he looked terrible against the Broncos. I mean, for all things being equal, I thought Bo Nix did everything that Rodgers did in that game. I mean, let's face facts. He beat him.
I mean, look, really, the one game that the offenses looked great was against maybe the worst team in the NFL, the Patriots.
Yeah.
So, they haven't looked great against anyone else. In that game they won in Tennessee, I don't think, they had a great running game that day. They barely won the game. The Vikings are 4-0, and they're 2.5-point favorites in London against the Jets. This is a 9:30 a.m. East kick for us. 40.5 is the total.
Well, let's face facts. The Vikings have looked fantastic through 4 weeks. Maybe the best team in the league. Maybe the best team in the league offensively, the way they're scoring, the way they're moving the ball, the way they're throwing the ball, the way they're running the ball, their receivers, and they are loaded at receiver. I mean, they got a couple of them that are just unstoppable. I like Minnesota still going into this game in London. They're just better than the Jets.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in this set than I do for this year. I am ready. I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all long, people.
What in the world is going on in Miami, Dom?
It's not particularly anything to shy away from just because many people are on top of it.
Hot take, hot take. I think this line is asking you once again to take New Orleans.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With 2 former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the The Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.